us. Today we have a great guest named Trey from the Richards Group. Trey, tell us about your job. What do you do?
So at the Richards Group, I'm a digital strategist. So essentially anything that has to do with the digital side and social side of a lot of our clients, our discipline normally kind of handles. And so I've been there about a year and a half now.
That's super fun. And so for students who do not know, what type of an agency is the Richards Group?
Yeah, so what we describe it as full creative, right? So we have everything in the house from our creative team to motion graphics to just about everything you need to run a full agency. And it really helps our clients out a lot because everything is in house. Everything we could take care of by either going to someone's desk, going upstairs, downstairs, just makes for an easier workflow.
And so this is the largest independently owned agency, which is in Dallas, Texas, correct?
Yes, it is.
It's crazy. That's awesome.
Very
So
different.
I can imagine that it's totally different, especially coming from Google, which is a very entirely different place, I would assume.
Mm.
So walk us through a day in the life. What do you do?
Ooh, day in the life, it depends on the day. A lot of my clients are very on. They have an off and on schedule. So what I mean by that is, we'll have months where we're really gearing up for our launch season. Let's say our launch season in the fall. So a lot of our, planning and stuff happens spring, summertime, and just getting ready for that. Production happens around summertime as well. Just getting digital and social assets that we can use to be prepared for launch. So right now, my days look a little bit different, but typically, I get to work 8:30, 8:29. That is a rule that we have, 8:29. And then from there, I'm kind of on the go. A lot of my meetings now are, like I said, preparing for that launch that is happening normally in the fall for most of my clients right now. But we're going over the digital assets right now. We're going over creative assets as well. And so our creative teams will brainstorm with them sometimes just on a bigger concept. Sometimes it's TV, sometimes it's digital. Really just try to bring those together, make it a full circle campaign. So that's kind of what my daily looks like. I will say that I'm different from most digital strategists in the sense of a lot of the brands in which your class may be familiar with, the Bapes, the Supremes, the now I'm on this new journey of trying to do album rollouts and different things for artists at Capitol Records and Atlantic Records, and just trying to build those different brands that they have because their artist lineup is full of brands, different personalities, right? So I saw it as an opportunity to now capture a new audience and really kind of, what your class can probably help me on more than anything is kind of what's in the know, what's happening now, what's the next thing happening. And so that's kind of, I'm on multiple different journeys. So my day does look a little different than normal digital strategists, but that's kind of the gist of it.
That's super fun. So who are the clients, if you can name any, that you're working for on all of the above or the brands?
Yeah. So right now we're working on Crush, was the soda brand. They're under the Cure Dr. Pepper, the Cure Dr. Pepper family and portfolio. I'm also working a little bit on their Home Depot and Dr. Pepper college football. And then, like I said, I have a couple things going with Lil Yachty right now. As far as his albums coming out soon, and I'm trying to do something with Travis Scott. That should be coming soon as
Ooh,
well. So a lot of things are moving and shaking for me right now.
that's really exciting. That's super fun. I don't know how you sleep at night, to be honest. That's a lot. You just name dropped everybody.
Well, I try to keep it, within the hours of the workplace. But in this
That's cool.
industry, yeah, in this industry, there's no really confined lines of hours you work. So
Yeah, right. Oh, tell me about that. So tell us, like, if you could tell the students, what roles do you interface closely with at the agency? So within whatever brands you're working on, how do you interface with other positions? And you mentioned that a little bit ago, but and then just like, what does that look like for collaboration?
yeah. So try not to champion my discipline so much in digital strategy, but I think that allows us to see many different facets of what a client may need, right? So you talk about disciplines in which we interact with, that's everything from creative to motion graphics to our brand management, our brand planning team. right? So brand management is really the client facing, the ones that have the relationship with the client. Brand planning is more, I like to describe the numbers, right? They help us really kind of firm up a lot of the ideas and what's creative and digital strategy may come up with, and give us real contextual things that we can use in strategy as well. And then creative, last but not least, is probably the most important, right? They're the ones, when you see the TV spot, is coming from their brains along with, the whole group. But it's really their creative idea that we're trying to build off of and make full circle. And so what that looks like a lot of times, I think with digital strategy, it is that collaborative effort of coming up with the idea, coming up with a creative strategy. Then from there, how can our discipline now come in and really kind of firm up that, right? So you see it in a lot of the Home Depot creative. You see it in um, with Dr. Pepper as well. So you see a lot of it happening. But I think when you look at TV and you see like more of the digital running stuff, you also have to pay attention to the things that happen in digital, right? The 15-second and 6-second pre-roll that are happening on YouTube, things that you see. So a lot of those strategy in which we're very involved with. So that's probably my favorite part of it is really just sitting down with creative. And sometimes they give you the peek behind the curtain. They let you give implement. Um, to the bigger spot, and now you feel like you have a bigger hand in it. Not that you didn't before, but I think the more collaborative they are, the more everyone feels kind of a part of the whole thing.
That's super cool. So, do you have a favorite campaign you've worked on recently that you can share?
Yeah, so I'll say last August we did a Snapple and Joe Fresh Goods pop up. Essentially, it was to garner cultural relevancy among the Gen Z audience. So Joe Fresh Goods was a fashion designer out of Chicago, really kind of up and coming at the time. I think he started. I think when I first saw him, he had like 40.2K followers. I think now he's up to 73. Okay.
That's
Now we're just
crazy.
talking for a couple months. So I'm glad that we're able to garner a relationship like that so early. But what we did was did a pop up in New York City in Soho, where we had collaborative merch between him, designer, and Snapple. The product we let him do a limited bottle wrap as well. We call it LTL, limited time offer. But you can see all I can send you that as well. But it was really fun. It was
Cool.
really a thing in which I think we did garner a lot of attention. Chance the Rapper showed up to the pop up as well. Joey Badass. I think Chance's brother Taylor Bennett was there as well. So it was a lot of good influential people that came that we didn't even invite. A lot of them came because of Joe and who he is, and being able to kind of garner that influence that he has within his circle as well. So we got pretty lucky with that, but all in all, it was a very successful campaign. Snapple saw the most conversation within a month and a half span that they have in the first 6 months. Um, the I think the numbers, the sentiment behind the whole thing, we got 100% positive brand sentiment, which is difficult to do. So we definitely
That's
patted ourselves on
amazing.
the back for that as well. So overall, it went really well. I was very happy that we were able to come out with something like that. I still have both of the shirts in which we collaborated on, and the bottle as well. So I'm pretty. Oh, and he just dropped these New Balances with um, there's a partnership with them as well. So he's definitely on the up now. So we're happy we're able to connect with them.
That's so cool. I feel so bad for anybody that's going to follow you in an interview now because there's no way they can match this. That's ridiculous on all levels. Trey with the name dropping, dude.
Just a little bit. I want you guys to be excited. Hopefully I
That's
can.
super cool. That's amazing. So let me back up a minute. Like, didn't you just win an Addy for this work? Do I remember that?
Yes, we actually. So
Or a
a
few?
close number two was our Lil Nas X and Snapple, as well, that we won Best in Show for at the Addy Awards. But yeah, we did win a I think it was Ambient Media that we won an Addy Award for Joe Fresh Goods, and then we got Best in Show for Lil Nas X. So it was a good year for Snapple.
That's so
Yeah,
cool. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Let's get to the big important question. Why advertising? What do you love?
that is a very, very loaded question. Um, I think coming into it, I had no idea what advertising was. Like, I didn't graduate with an advertising major. I don't think my school even talked about advertising. I went to Northwestern in Chicago. I don't think they talked about advertising, right? And so after I left the NFL and then going to Google, I now get exposed to a little bit more of that side, and you kind of wonder who comes up with these like marketing campaigns, right? I think your class can really kind of resonate with Supreme and how they do their drops, right? Who thought of that strategy? Like, why is that such a big thing now in the culture and the hype culture as well? So with that kind of playing in my head, I'm going back and forth with what industry is really doing this. And luckily, SMU offers a great advertising class, and you guys are aware of a lot of things that are happening, which I didn't. It took me. I'm 27 now. It took me 6, 7 years to now finally fall into this. Um, but I think it's all in the strategy for me. I think a lot of times there are groups of people and cultures that are overlooked because there's no one that looks like the audience, right? And so for me, Joe Fresh Goods and Snapple, like I am that audience. I follow Supreme, I follow Bape, I follow, all the hype cultural brands, but we're never um, spoken to in the right way a lot of times, right? A lot of it can come off as inauthentic in a lot of ways and um, not really hit home. I think it can be forced a lot of times. No need to jab Pepsi and what they did with the Jenners, but that was a mishap because not of us was represented in the room, and so really why I'm here is for strategy and speak to those in which haven't been spoken to in an authentic way. I want to make sure that comes across well, and then just to have that voice in the room when something doesn't feel off, something doesn't feel right. Are we speaking to them in the right way? Are we doing microaggressions in our advertising in which we don't even know because we don't have those conversations in the room, right? And so I think in advertising, a lot of those conversations are starting to happen more and more. And so as long as I have a seat at that table, I feel like there's a reason for me in this industry. Um, and I'll continue to be, the pioneer wherever I need to be for those people to be heard and spoken to in the right way.
Awesome. Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all of that with us. That's so cool. Anything else you kind of want to share with? And, it's not just advertising important. I think it's like human important to get perspectives of everybody and try to reflect as many perspectives as possible.
Yeah.
So thank you for doing that. And I think that's super important. You're bringing those concerns to the Richards Group and bringing that perspective to what you do as a digital strategist. And that's really relevant and needed. So I'm glad to know you and do this.
Thank you. Thank you. The only thing I'll add is that I think it's important for the students in the class to understand that you guys are kind of leading this next kind of wave of advertising, if you will. A lot of things in which I'm coming across now is me fighting the old guard, if you will, right? Because they've been in it so long, advertising been around so long. But I think the rules change so much that it's hard to keep up sometimes, right? You see kind of the best brands in the world do it. You see Nike, right? You see others do it at a rapid pace, and you just kind of wonder, how do we keep up with that? If I had anything to say, it is because of you guys keeping it fresh, keeping the content fresh. It is the TikToks and the Instagrams of the world in which it's taken over now, right? And so a lot of people in these seats that you want to be in one day have no idea what that means, right? And not because they didn't grow up with it. A lot of times they just have the rules in which they know how to go by and have younger people like me that can lean on. But I say all that because you guys are the next wave. You guys are going to be the trendsetters in this space, whether you know it or not. As culture gets bigger, as different subcultures
Sorry,
get
my
bigger as
dog's
well.
angry.
Somebody must be at the door.
I'm not going to
uh,
see anyone. It's not happening.
but you guys are the next wave, and I think that's important. Hopefully, I can meet you guys in person one day. But just know that the work in which you're about to embark on, and the work that you have a passion and interest in, can be carried over into the advertising space. You just need kind of the strategy and the concept to do so. So, yeah.
That's awesome.